Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. Obviously this is part 2 of my dreams for Italian football, as it's Italy's Unification Day today. As I mentioned before, I am a big fan of Italian football, and I only really support Italy for football nowadays. So anyway, please check out part 1 if you haven't already done so, because I don't want to go too long in the intro, because I don't want to bore people with the intro. So I'm going to try and crack on with my list. But yeah, please check out part 1, so that will explain it in a bit more detail. And as ever, I welcome your comments and any support of my channel, like your likes or anything like that. Appreciate all those things, and I hope I won't bore you to death, and got anything else to say for the intro. So yeah, this is basically about trying to support and drum up support for Italian football, and encourage people to get into Italian football, and encourage like supporters, clubs and academies and that sort of thing for Italian football. So I hope to help to raise the profile of Italian football and that sort of thing. So here goes. Yeah, so I also wanted to make some videos about St. Patrick's Day, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to that. But maybe I'll have to do that like a bit belated or behind schedule. But anyway, here it goes. So number 11, I'd love to look into what Italian football can change to improve, like what some of the weaknesses of Italian football are, which would help if those things were addressed or changed. And changed basically, it would help Italian football to do even better, like to encourage, to attract investment, encourage and attract investment into Italian football. And as I mentioned in part 1, and in many of my previous videos, I hope I don't repeat myself too much, but yeah, I would love to attract investment into Italian football, like from not what I call the BRICS, what are the BRICS, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and other countries around the world, and other organizations and blocks, even big banks, businesses, and that sort of thing. And Italian politicians could perhaps attract investment through offering tax exemptions and other such financial incentives, like to invest in Italy. Perhaps if people own a football club, maybe they can make it easier to invest in things in Italy, like other businesses, or maybe like they could say, if you want to invest in Italy, you have to own a football team in order to do so, or something like that, to make it more attractive for overseas investment. And I think Italy is a place well worthy to invest in terms of football, because it's a country which is dominated mainly by one sport, which is football, and they have a lot of passion for football. But yeah, so I hope to look into what Italian football can do to improve. Like, for instance, I mentioned in part 1, learning from say the EPL, English Premier League, about how to market. Just the EPL is probably the best marketed league in the world, and one of the best marketed businesses in the world, really, I think, in many ways. How they've promoted that, excuse me, in spite of the fact that the national team in England hasn't done that well, but the club teams do really well. Also learning from like Spain about youth development and encouraging like young people to play football as often as possible, especially, and that sort of thing, would really benefit Italian football in the long run, I think. And it's something hopefully Italians will be proud of. I was hoping the victory in the Euros would help to cement, like to improve Italian football, because, including at club team level as well as national level, because I was hoping Italians would come together, and also it would help to boost Italian football, but it doesn't seem to have done that so well at the moment, or just yet. So hopefully it will have a knock-on effect, although it might be a bit delayed. But yeah, so hopefully Italian football can continue to improve and learn and develop and grow, and look at things like how to become more attacking and attractive, and also look at ways to market. Like I think, maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think that Italian kits are the best football kits. So if they use things like that to market, then hopefully that will attract more investment, and with more people being interested in Italian football, hopefully that will attract investment. Number 12, on that note, hopefully accentuating all the positives about Italian football, and also what like former players could perhaps, like people like Violi or Mancini, or any former player, Del Piero or Baggio, could have their own academies and centres where they help younger people to train, and also teach what they know and pass on those skills. So different Italian players, maybe like including in different positions like goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, attackers, and all that kind of thing, strikers or whatever you want to call them, could teach about what sort of skills they know, and like pass on what skills they know. And some of it might be natural, so it might be that they can't really teach it, but maybe they could teach at least what they can. And hopefully, like the Italian government and politicians and councils across Italy will offer incentives to build more football academies in different cities in Italy, can have like a friendly competition where they see which cities can build the best academies and opportunities for especially young people to get into football. Number 13, I hope to address some of the issues, some of the negative side of Italian football, which I hope to change. Some of the stuff like prejudice, especially racism and violence, hooliganism, and some of the colonial past, and try to think if there's any other like defensive football, maybe become more attacking, but also keep that defense at the same time. Number 14, a solution. I hope to look into solutions like, for instance, Italian football traditionally has a good defensive system, but maybe they could build on that, but at the same time keep the defense and know how to build on that defense. Also look at how to encourage attackers to be more attacking, and the midfielders also to be more attacking, while the goalkeeper and defense covers the defense. So it would hopefully become more entertaining, but also, in my opinion, most importantly, win trophies. And hopefully also that hopefully Italians will be happy with that, and think about the feeling Italians got when they won the Euros, like how it helped everyone to be happy. In Italy, I'm sure, or most people, I'm sure, or Italian fans around the world, even in Canada and places like that, they had like a celebration. So hopefully they will rekindle some of that success. Number 15, I'd love to in the future like interview or maybe collaborate with with Italian football fans, other Italian football fans, to talk about like Italian football in English, to talk about like their goals or dreams or what they'd love to see, or some of their views, like what's more important to them, like the club team or their local club team, or like the club team they support, or the country, or the national team. So yeah, I'd love to hear different views like that, and just general goals and what's important to my fellow Italian fans. Number 16, I hope to look into best possible ways to benefit Italian football through like committees, cooperatives and think tanks and things like that. So groups to work together basically to talk about what is in the best interests of Italian football, like in terms of the long-term longevity, however you pronounce it, and yeah, what could be best to benefit Italian football. Like, I think offering tax exemptions could encourage investment, which could be used for, again, places/spaces for sport, in this case football, across Italy, and hopefully encouraging Italians to play football as much as possible, and like discouraging other sports so Italy could dominate in football, which to me is the best sport in the world, if I'm honest. Number 17, hopefully Italian football will do things to raise awareness of disability, especially neurodiversity like dyslexia, ADHD, and conditions like that through football. And like people with dyslexia and ADHD could go to Italy, and maybe there could be like a World Cup for dyslexia or neurodiversity generally, or even like dyslexia, ADHD, and neurodiversity generally, or pan disabilities and things like that, which could be held in Italy, especially, or at least the first events could be held in Italy. So it hopefully also people with dyslexia and ADHD could talk about what strengths we have, or neurodiversity generally could talk about what strengths we could have to contribute, or what strengths we do have, to contribute to Italian football. Like my fellow dyslexics, and again people with ADHD, could like draw on plain piece of paper or on blue paper, because Italy's colour is blue, draw like football pitches and like tactics. Those who are good at art could draw tactics and go through it together, and hopefully Italians can practice those, and also hopefully learn to respect the coaches from the youngest possible age, and the coaches and the players and managers and whoever else is involved in Italian football could do what's best for the team. Number 18, I hope to accentuate all the positives about Italian football, like how Italian football used to be so successful, and how to return to those glory days, and how Italy's won 4 World Cups and 2 Euros. Sorry, not sure why I put that in quotation marks, but yeah, 4 World Cups and 2 Euros, and like looking at how to capitalize on that previous success to go into the future. Number 19, I hope Italian football at the same time will like give back to parts of Africa to improve relations, and maybe work with African entrepreneurs or sport entrepreneurship in Africa, and if Africans and black people around the world, by investing in Italian football and have shares in Italian football, hopefully the relations between Italians and black people will improve, hopefully, and also the rest of the world generally. But I'd love for Italian football to fundraise for Africans in software development or technology generally, and STEM generally. And I think it'd be great if older Italians passed on their skills or knowledge to the younger Italians, and also Italians improved their diets for football as well. So I hope I didn't waffle too much, and as ever, I'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions or anything like that. And I am out. Peace out.